In this room filled with old equipment at the back of a small house in Meriton, Niagara's history on film is coming alive. Stephen Hartwell has transformed a hobby business into the Niagara Historical Films Project, turning old 8 and 16 millimeter films into a fascinating online archive.
Well, it actually started because I became interested in a bunch of finding again, after many decades, films that have been, home movie films that have been taken of my family by our neighbor back in the 1950s. And I realized around the early 90s that if I was interested in my family's home movies, that other people would also be. And I went on the radio to talk about it, and I got tons and tons of people calling. Began to realize that some of the home movies that were being taken by people actually included things of a historical nature. And I thought, geez, you know, I'm not the only one who would enjoy that kind of thing, and there would be a lot of other Canadians that would enjoy that as well.
When you realized that there was some historical significance, what did you plan to do with that?
I decided to create a YouTube channel and upload these digitized films when I got permission to do so, and make them available for all Canadians to enjoy, and indeed the whole entire world.
Hartwell's YouTube channel features old films of Port Dalhousie, Niagara Falls, Ridley College, and the Grape and Wine Festival parades through the years.
The Niagara region really deserved its own list of historically significant old films. And I began to get in touch with some of the people around here that could help me find them. So one of the people I got in touch with was Kathleen Powell, the curator of St. Catherine's Museum. And after many conversations with her, she got the idea that I ought to talk to David Sharon, who's head of the archives at Brock University. So I contacted him, and he said, well, as a matter of fact, we don't have many, but we do have some. And it turned out that the Niagara Grape and Wine Festival films had been left there for safekeeping, and he said, yeah, let's get these digitized and get them up for the whole world to enjoy. So that's how that happened.
And those films go back to what years?
The earliest one was 1952, and I believe the latest one that was saved was 1977.
What's the earliest film that you've been able to digitize?
Earliest one I have ever had the privilege of doing was 1929, and it actually gave me, it was my start of why I began a Niagara historical films project. Denton Massey, who was a member of the famous Canadian agricultural Massey family, they built tractors and all kinds of other things. When he was a young man and graduated from university, he got his father's 16 millimeter equipment, and he went out across Canada filming all kinds of things, like one of the first Calgary Stampedes and that sort of thing. One day he and some friends took a steamboat from Toronto to Port Dalhousie in 1929. That was a very, very popular thing to do back in those days. And so he recorded this trip, day trip, on a 16 millimeter film. And a descendant of his heard me on the radio back in 2002 and contacted me and said, I still have all of my grandfather's or great-grandfather's films that he did way back in the 20s and 30s. Can you digitize them for me?
How do you make money on this? What do you charge someone to digitize the film?
Well, with the project, this is all public service. So I do that for free.
To find out more about the Niagara Historical Films Project or to contact Steve about your old films, visit homemovies.ca. Reporting for The Source in St. Catharines, I'm Mike Balsom.